So we had all of the participants for the men's Money in the Bank on the Raw side come out, starting with Drew McIntyre, who said, "I guess we have to talk about the Alamo," and proceeded to tell us that he was a distant relative of Davy Crockett and he would rather die than lose in Texas. I might rather die than hear any more of Storytime Drew McIntyre. I am done with Storytime Drew.
Yeah, history teacher Drew. I mean, it's every promo that he is in. You know,
dude, we got two of them tonight. We got two.
I think he might have lost, like a stipulation dark match where the loser has to try to incorporate something out of a textbook for every single one of his promos for 2 months. Because that's what it feels like this Drew McIntyre has been doing for some reason. And I would understand if they were trying something like this with like a Chad Gable or like, I don't know, like a Drew Gulak. But Drew McIntyre, your A1 top babyface on the show, to give him this sort of like careless, fuck around type of gimmick is insane to me. I have no doubt he's only doing this to like make somebody back there laugh. Or maybe it's some sort of weird test, some sort of weird like a fraternity initiation thing like that he has to do on the down low. But it's weird, and it's really...
The thing is, like, he's got a story and plenty of material. You are shut out of the Raw title picture. This briefcase is your salvation. And then he snuck in the line here that he is going to win the briefcase and then cash in on any brand of his choosing. Well, no, not any brand of your choosing. You have one option, two at best if you're choosing NXT. We have established you cannot cash it in on Bobby Lashley.
Right. Yes, we have.
The Undertaker arrived with Shanky and Veer. Jinder Mahal here on his bike. So they interview him. Jinder, tonight you're taking on Drew. Talk about your history with him. Well, he was with me when I bought this custom bike to celebrate one of my title defenses. And I recently texted him to go riding. He did not respond to me for 3 days. He wrote, "Too busy, bro." And he wrote the number 2 instead of TOO. Does he think he's better than me? This is our big showdown between former best friends Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre because this asshole used numbers to communicate words.
I mean, it was a pretty funny line. Let's be honest. I don't take this as a serious feud anyway. I take Jinder at this point very much like he's a 24/7 comedy dude. And so him getting angry over his friend using the number 2 instead of TOO, which, by the way, I don't really understand. I mean, presumably Drew is on a smartphone. It would take as many clicks to go to the number portion, type the number 2, and then type back to the letters as it would to just type TOO. So how much time is he really saving? I think he's just trying to be cool, that Drew McIntyre. So I thought it was funny. I thought it was just like a stupid, campy reason for a fight.
Made you really excited for this match. You can't wait for it to happen next.
I mean, what could they have done to make me excited anyway?
They could have done what Heath Slater did with Drew McIntyre last year. They gave him a microphone, and in one segment, it was like the best promo of Heath Slater's career, and you were actually genuinely excited.
I guess I just don't expect that type of promo from Jinder Mahal.
Drew McIntyre's with Sarah Schreiber, and he's got his sword, his family heirloom. And yes, Way, it has an origin story behind it. It was made from the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie. And he tells the story of a warrior going into the water and getting a go-behind on the Loch Ness Monster and using a rear naked choke and claymored the tooth out of the Loch Ness Monster, and the warrior became friends with the monster and went on to proclaim that with this tooth, you'll go on to become the Money in the Bank winner in Texas. So the Loch Ness Monster is fueling Drew McIntyre's run towards the briefcase.
Yeah, again, I don't understand why they're like having Drew basically come out here and just tell these ridiculous stories. I mean, they're not even funny. It'd be one thing if like we were all in on a joke. Because last week I thought, okay, maybe Drew is doing all this stuff just to like troll the announcers for or the backstage interviewers for asking such dumb questions. Like it was some sort of like meta comment about how ridiculous and bad their backstage interviewers are. But that doesn't appear to be the case. The sense I get watching these is just that Drew McIntyre has gone insane. Like this loss has just like broken his brain. And all of a sudden, all he could talk about, like he's just buried himself deep into these like, I don't know, like Wikipedia articles about Irish history or something. Like he's just, there's something wrong with Drew McIntyre. Yet I don't exactly think that that's what they're trying to do. So I really don't understand. And you can even tell Drew at the end of this segment here, he kind of breaks and kind of laughs at himself for like the ridiculous shit he's just had to say. So I don't exactly know if like, again, he's being dared to say this and he's just doing this to like make Vince laugh or something.
What do you mean dared to say this? He's being this is promo.
What I mean is like, yeah, like somebody's writing this for him knowing that this is terrible material and let's see what this guy can do with it. Something like that's crazy, right? Like what billion-dollar company would do that to their lead character?
This one.
So that can't be it, right? But it comes across that insane. So, I mean, I don't know. Somebody must get a kick out of it.
Someone. So Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, the big showdown. They're having a match. Mahal's in control until a Glasgow kiss is hit. And he hits a pair of belly-to-bellies and does a kip-up and does the air guitar, signaling nicer days as 3MB. And Mahal tries for the Colossus. It's stopped. He hits the Future Shock. And then as Drew is going for the countdown, Veer and Shanky attack him for the DQ in 10:15. Mahal super kicks Drew, rams him into the post, and hits the Colossus. But that wasn't enough. Jinder went too far. He takes the man's sword and said, "You took away my opportunity. I take away your family heirloom. I take your precious sword."
Yeah. Oh no. He took his sword. Damn. Took his
from the
sword.
tooth of Nessie.
Yeah. Well, this feud needs to continue somehow. Might as well be over a stolen sword, right? So, we'll get.
This had to be the least interesting match Drew McIntyre's had on Raw in a long time. There's one thing that is very consistent: is Drew McIntyre. His matches on Raw are usually the highlight of the show. This was I thought, dull match.
Oh, totally agreed. I mean, it's a reminder that hey, this is Jinder Mahal, and we saw a whole summer of this. Main events with Jinder Mahal, they all looked like this. And it was unfortunate because like I thought there was real potential with these two, and there maybe still is, but I definitely didn't get a glimpse of it here, where these two have openly talked about wanting a match with the other, given their real life friendship and maybe even their in character histories together. Yet when you see the match,
well, look what they gave them. They gave them a text message as their impetus to fight tonight. They took none of it seriously, so they gave these guys no opportunity for anyone to possibly care, even if you did go into it with like some kind of interest because of a history you could draw upon.
Yeah. And ultimately it's Jinder Mahal. He's extremely limited in his style and abilities in ring. So this is the match that you're going to get. And you can at least expect another, if not maybe even two more, but by the time we get the Money in the Bank.